So you've had dealings with Daleks as well, then?
Yeah, they killed me once, long time ago. No big deal.
You look pretty healthy for a corpse.
I know, right?
Hello, friends. Although I am dressed up in Pokemon Nintendo things, I'm here to talk about Doctor Who: Revolution of the Daleks. I know that the season is going on and all the specials are happening right now. I'm just really trying to get caught up. I will say I'm almost done series 13 as well, the 13th season. So hopefully I will be caught up very, very soon, and then we can talk about the new specials. But before we do, I need to talk about Revolution of the Daleks. As you may have noticed, I finished Series 12 recently. I went back and rewatched all of it, and I gave my thoughts on that. So if you haven't checked out that video, please do. And now we're going to talk about Revolution of the Daleks. So, quick little synopsis. So, spoiler warning, although this is very old, but spoiler warning. So with Revolution of the Daleks, while the Doctor is stuck in space jail, which happens at the end of the 12th season, the Daleks basically find the means to rise up on Earth under the guise of basically security droids, which is, you know, they are kind of just that, but then something else goes on. We'll get into that as we talk about the special. Yaz, Ryan, and Graham attempt to uncover the truth behind the Daleks' appearance on Earth, because obviously they're all alone, they don't have the Doctor with them, but they're still gonna try to do something, which I love. Jack Harkness appears, rescues the Doctor, and they join up with the fam, who are now faced, of course, with a full-on Dalek revolution, which threatens to overtake Earth and exterminate all life on the planet. So, that's basically what's going on in this episode. Of course, as always, the Doctor saves the day, which I knew was going to happen. But what I really loved about this episode, and this special, I should say, is how there are so many fun twists and turns, and we really get to join the Doctor on, like, uncovering, like, how do we solve the problem. I always know the Doctor is going to save the day, but I like when I'm not so sure, because I don't know how it's going to happen. And this had that excitement that I felt like sometimes was missing in the 12th season. So overall, I actually liked this special more than I liked, I think, all of the 12th season. Is that bad? I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were individual moments in the 12th season that I really, really loved, so I'm not trying to snub season 12 here, but I just feel like in terms of what it's doing for a lot of the characters, especially the companions, and for how streamlined the story felt, I just really liked it. It just felt very cohesive, it felt exciting, and I feel like in season 12, the companions were kind of, I don't know, they just didn't really get as much development. And as I said in my season 12 review, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we have 3 companions with the Doctor, which is a lot, and, you know, less episodes than we've had in previous seasons. So it's just a lot to do. It's just a lot. And then also, like, how heavy in terms of just what it's doing for the entire, like, universe of Doctor Who in season 12. So there's, I think, just too many things going on in that season, whereas this is doing less because it is a special. So Daleks are revolting, and basically the Doctor's companions have to deal with being without the Doctor for the first, I would say, half of the episode. Maybe it's not a full half, but it felt like a half. And I like kind of seeing them figure it out on their own. It just feels like we get to connect with them more. So some of my favorite parts of this special, one of the moments where Harkness is basically talking to Yaz and gives some advice on sort of what it's like to be the Doctor's companion. I also love the allusion, the, like, random just mentioning of Rose and how Rose is, like, trapped in, like, another dimension. And then the fam is like, wait, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. It's cool, it's cool, it's cool. But this idea that Yaz, I think, panicked when she was without the Doctor and gets really upset, actually, at the Doctor being gone. And Harkness basically says to her that, like, it's scary when you're not with the Doctor, but also remember that your time with the Doctor is finite. Like, every companion that has come before you is no longer with the Doctor now. So eventually there will come a time when it's time for you to leave the Doctor as well, or for the Doctor to leave you. And that basically being a companion is bittersweet, because although it's really amazing when it's happening, it does hurt when you're no longer a companion anymore. But I like that Harkness also basically says, like, the fun of the time and the joy that you have with the Doctor is worth the pain that you'll have after. I think this was also a really good special for Yaz just kind of realizing that the Doctor is a person, like an alien, a Time Lord, sure, but that her hero is kind of flawed. And I think that's why Yaz gets so upset when the Doctor is gone for, you know, some months. I think it's like 6 months or 9 months in the episode, which I had some mixed feelings on that, but that's how I'm justifying it in my head so that it makes more sense. It's just this like shattering of the idea that the Doctor will always save the day, the Doctor will always come back, and then for months they're without the Doctor and they're like, that's bizarre. Especially when you consider that even if the Doctor's gone for like years, the Doctor could just, you know, time travel to where they last left you. So, yeah. But I understand, I guess, you know, when you expect that from someone. But I think it's in realizing that Yaz's expectations maybe aren't realistic, or that, you know, the Doctor isn't as perfect as she thought she was. Something about that revelation, I think, is why she's so upset. Because she has to confront that and she doesn't want to. Because the Doctor is like her hero. Graham and Ryan also leave the Doctor in this special, which did bring a tear to my eye. I was sad to see them go. I'm really, really, really gonna miss Graham. I really loved him. I do wish that we kind of had these companions like one at a time as opposed to all at once, because I do feel like Graham and Ryan didn't really get like enough development. I don't know. I would have liked to see more happen with them. But I understand it was time for them to go, and I do like that that means that we get more focus on Yaz as we move into the next season, which I'm excited for, and I'm hyped about, because I really love, I think if we're gonna keep anyone, I think that Yaz and the Doctor are the two people I would want to keep together. Also, I feel like there's romantic tension between Yaz and the Doctor. Does anyone else feel that? Is it just me? I love the idea of alien tech becoming sentient and in essence kind of rising up, and sort of this little bit of like a theme of almost like the dangers of like corporate tech, or like tech that we don't understand, and how it can like threaten to overtake us, and how we should be wary of advancement sometimes. Advancement isn't always good, you know what I mean? Especially when it's alien tech that, you know, was really a Dalek, that there were trace amounts and then we cloned that and now we got Daleks, because that's not so good. I also liked how smart the solution was, and how the plans kind of had to like be improvisational at times. Like, it was like, oh, we're gonna do this thing, and then that falls through, but it's like, oh, we got another plan, and like, oh, we're gonna rebound. That's just so Doctor Who to me, and it's exhilarating. It's what I live for in Doctor Who. So I really felt like the plan to solve the problem just felt really good to me. Overall, I think this special was better for the companions and their development than it was necessarily for the Doctor. Although the Doctor is kind of reflecting on who they are at the beginning, and like, you know, those previous lives and what do those mean, and she doesn't really know. So there's a little bit of that. But I think based on what I've seen so far of season 13, which I won't get into too much since I'm going to do a whole video on that, but I think that's more kind of what season 13 is about, and just reconciling a little bit more with like the past that she doesn't remember. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So, what did I not like about the special? Well, actually, not that much. There was only a couple things. The sort of ridiculousness of everything that needed to fall into place for this to have happened on Earth and for the Daleks to have risen up. Some of it felt very like, wow, you guys are really gonna do this? Wow, that's what's really going to happen with that Dalek, and now we're gonna make tech with it, and all of the things that you shouldn't do, you're doing. Like, oh, I found a little bit of this residue and I'm gonna clone it, and now we have like a bunch of Daleks, and then they overtook everything. And the part where he's like, you should burn that, and then they don't do that. I have a lot of questions as to how we got here. Or even at the beginning, the person that was supposed to transport the Dalek and then stops to get tea and literally is told to like not stop and does it anyways. Like, there's so many things here that went wrong that I was like, why? Very horror movie moments almost, where it's just like, but why? Why would you do this? But I digress. I was willing to accept all of that because it built up a cool premise and I enjoyed the story. So, suspension of disbelief is all I'm gonna say about that. I also felt Yaz being so upset with the Doctor for being absent when the Doctor was trapped in space jail felt kind of unreasonable to me. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, it was only so many months. But as I said, I kind of found a way to frame it that I think it made sense for the character to be that upset. Let me know what you think about that, and sort of, do you feel like it was rational for Yaz to be that upset? Did you understand that? Or was it also something that you kind of went, that feels weird? How did you justify it? Or did you not justify it? Because it made so much sense. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's basically my thoughts on this special. Overall, I really liked it. I liked it better than season 12. And I feel like season 13, I feel like we're heading towards just great things. And then I've heard the specials so far have been amazing. So I'm just really excited to get caught back up and get back into the Whoverse. It has been such a fun journey, and thank you so much for encouraging me to go on this journey. I really appreciate it. I have loved Doctor Who for a long time, and it's a nerdy thing that I love discussing. So let me know if there are other sci-fi nerd things that you love in the comments, and maybe if it's something that I also love, we'll do some videos on it. Cool. Also, tune in on Wednesdays. I'm going to try to make it Doctor Who Wednesdays here on the channel. It might not always be so, but I'm going to try to make that so. So if you like Doctor Who, check out the videos on Wednesday. All right. Until next time, friends, I'll see you in the future. And until then, stay nerdy.